Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Stanfield Hunting Outfitters. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver.
That's me.
Day 4 in the books.
Whoa, we got so far to go.
Good hunt. Had a great season. Great
it's
season.
4 days, Jeff. So, like, if it's not by now, or if it hadn't been yet, then...
Well, all I go by is what we're doing right now. Right now, the hunting has been very, very, very good.
Yeah, we're squeaking by one day at a time. One day at a time.
Well, that's all we can do is one day at a time and keep going. We got some good weather coming in on Thursday. It's hotter than hell again now. It is going to be, I think, 90 degrees today or tomorrow.
Yeah, both days. 90 day, 90 today, and I think over 90 tomorrow.
That's terrible.
Not good.
And then 50's the high on Thursday with a 50% chance of rain. Thank you, Jesus, for that.
You always see colder weather and more rain than what I see. Somehow.
What is your weather showing?
High 60s and a little bit of rain.
High 60s?
Mm-hmm.
Well, your weather sucks.
Well, I think you see what you want to see.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not making myself see something. 56 degrees on high Thursday, 44 for a low, and a 50% chance of rain. High 59 Friday.
That's not a high of 50. That's a high of almost 60.
56.
High of almost 60, closer to 60 than it is to 50.
Well, it's 56 fucking degrees.
You said
one of them I saw was
going to be
52.
a high of 50.
One of them was 52 earlier. I saw.
Wow.
Noah, Thursday, high near 57, northwest wind 14 to 17, gust to size 28, with a 50% chance of rain.
You see what
Thursday
you
night, I'm looking at Noah now. And actually, it's going to be 56 degrees. It's going to be the high at midnight. It's actually going to be colder than that all day long.
We'll see. I hope it pisses rain because I'm off that day.
48 hours, temperatures. Let me look here and see. It's going to be at midnight. It's going to be 84, 82. There we go. It's the next 2 days. It's showing a high of 56 at 3 p.m. It's actually going to be at midnight. It's going to be 52, 54, 44, 43. And that's going to, by 56 at midnight. Okay, then, it does start dropping. So it's going to be in the 40s all day on Thursday. It's a good deal. And
good
nice
deal.
winds. We hadn't had a lot of wind in the mornings, though. We've had it in the afternoons, but the mornings have not been very windy at all.
These birds don't have to feed.
No, there's no reason for them to.
They just come out and dick around and kind of land here. They'll land there. They don't have to feed. They know it. Hell, half of them didn't even leave they don't leave the roost with any urgency. They just come off and kind of trickle out, and maybe they'll land here, and maybe they'll land there.
Well, we've had a good day not listening to Negative Nancy over here. It's been a very good day. We've been very blessed and very happy and hope it continues. And so we will see. We'll change things up just a little bit. We'll talk about a little bit of football here. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff on this podcast. Football, the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Eagles. Cowboy fans are blaming officiating, of course. Do you think Dallas is a legit Super Bowl contender? I do not think they are because they cannot win when it counts.
I think everybody in the NFC is.
As a legit NFL, as a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
I think there's two teams, Eagles and the Niners.
I don't think the Niners are.
Why?
Brock Purdy got his eggs scrambled, and he has not been the same.
They haven't had Trent Williams playing. They've missing some parts.
You asked me what I'm telling you. I don't think it's the Niners.
So you think the Eagles?
Too many mouths to feed. Eagles. If you'd asked me a month ago, I'd have said the Niners 100%. I think teams have figured out how to play Brock Purdy. Aaron Rodgers has said it before. The hardest years is year 3, and he's in year 2, and he's already struggling. But you're starting to see turnovers. They're getting pressure on him.
Well, that's because their offensive line's hurt.
I think that Brock Purdy's magical run of being this ordinary guy, making extraordinary throws, not turning the ball over, is over. Because I think defenses know how to play him.
You think he's back to being just an ordinary dude?
Yeah. I do. Unfortunately, because they were a lot of fun to watch. But offensive line's banged up all of a sudden. Now we're turning the ball over. He got a concussion. So I think that there's a handful of teams. I think that if the Niners can shore up their offensive line and get some confidence back in Brock Purdy, they could be one of those teams. But I think the Cowboys have just as much a shot. They lost 28-23 to the Eagles. So I think they've got just as much of a shot as anybody else does.
I don't think Dak can do it.
Well, probably maybe not.
He just, every time when it counts, like the game the other day, he had a chance to win the game. He finds a way to fuck it up. Whether it's taking a sack at the end of the game, whatever happens, Dallas just does not have that instinct of winning big when it counts. They win games by a lot that they should win. But the games that count, they find a way to lose at the end.
Right.
And so I just don't think Dallas is that team, and they may be.
All it takes is one Sunday.
In the AFC right now, I think right now Cincinnati's the best football team.
Every October, he turns it around.
They
write him off, and then he turns it around.
They look really, really, really good. And I don't even think they're a playoff team right now. I think if the playoffs started today, I don't think Cincinnati's in.
Right.
I do not think so. I looked it up the other day just because I was curious what the NFL matchups would be in the playoffs. And let's look them up real quick. Playoff picture. If the playoffs started today, the Chiefs would have the bye in the AFC, and the Bengals would play the Ravens in round 1. The Browns would play the Jaguars in round 2, or in another one, and the Steelers and the Dolphins. The Steelers are an actual playoff team. That is absolutely terrible. In the NFC right now, the Eagles are by far, they've got basically a game lead on the Lions and a 2-game lead on everybody else. The Vikings are in the playoffs right now, and they would play Detroit. Dallas would have to go to San Francisco today to play. And Seattle would play at New Orleans. So that is the playoff picture in the NFC. Cincinnati has got a 1-game lead on. Right now, Buffalo is not in the playoffs.
Crazy.
Yep. That's where we're at in football-wise. All right, let's talk about some other things in the world that's going on. That's what I wanted to get to today anyways. What's your thoughts on all the Palestinian stuff? Because these colleges are at a big crossroads here, because they are a lot of these young kids support Hamas, and I don't understand that. I don't know if we've gotten so far away from the Bible that the kids just have no love or desire for Israel, or why they all of a sudden are all Hamas people. But these colleges are finding out the people that pay their checks are not for Hamas. They are supporting the Israelis and are cutting their money off.
Who's cutting their money off?
A lot of the donors are not giving money to these colleges that are going against the Jewish people.
Oh.
It's happened in Harvard. It's happened to a lot of schools. The anti-Semitism.
I've not seen any of it.
This is hard to do a podcast with you, and this is the answers I get on everything.
It's hunting season. I've not watched any of the news,
And
so I mean, I don't know.
I'm telling you what's going on.
Okay, then the kids should pay more attention to history, I guess. I don't know. I've not seen any of this. This is the first I'm hearing of it. I don't know anything about what's going on at Harvard. I'm sure
it's
the kids
a lot of colleges.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they did the same with the Vietnam War. Did they not? I mean, they came out and protested the Vietnam War. I'm sure it's just what it is.
Well, there's a big difference between the Vietnam War and the shit going on in Israel. In a way, it's a lot alike, but a lot of ways it's completely different. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on what's going on in Israel?
I don't know what's going on in Israel.
You don't know what's going on in Israel?
Are they still killing? They still
it's the same
invading?
Shit.
I've not seen a new. Has there been a new invasion? I've not seen anything.
They haven't stopped fighting.
Well, they haven't stopped fighting for 200 years. When has there ever been peacetime over there? I don't understand.
They're fighting right now, the same shit every day now. Hamas is using the shields and the hospitals and stuff as an excuse.
I thought they've done that already.
They have, and that hasn't stopped. I asked what your opinion is of what's going on. I think what's going on over there, I feel sorry for the innocent people on both sides of the deal. I think the Israeli government is using some of this as an excuse to completely decimate and wipe out Hamas, which they should do.
Reese, turn that down. I'm sure. I mean, we talked about that with Jimmy Watson.
Yes, same shit. I just wanted your opinion on it, if you thought anything was going on more or anything different.
It's a travesty.
Okay, let's talk about restaurants in San Francisco.
I don't know anything about Hamas, you don't know. Now you're going to go to restaurants in San Fran.
A lot of San Francisco's, the high-end restaurants are closing down.
They should. It's a shithole.
Yes, it is a shithole. What do you think the answer is for these liberal cities?
Quit electing liberals.
Yes, I would agree on that.
I mean, you're getting what you voted in, people. That's what it is. None of them listen to this show, but I'm sorry. If you know of anybody out there in California, my prayers are with you. This is what you get. For too long, you voted in a bunch of people that had all these grand ideas about everybody being equal, and we got to feel bad for the homeless population, and to some extent we do. But this is what you get. These ideas have always failed, given the proper amount of time. Sorry, but it is what it is.
The people that think that, I guess what drives me crazy more than anything is the simple fact that the people in these liberal places like San Francisco don't want change. They want change, but they don't want to really do change. They want to keep kissing everybody, all the liberal asses, and trying to accept everybody. Well, the people they're accepting is the problem that they have with those cities. They're burning shit down. They don't work. They want handouts all the time. I'm tired. One of the things that wears me out right now is GoFundMe's. I saw 3 different GoFundMe's yesterday on Facebook for 3 fucking people that could get a fucking job.
Hard times out there for people.
It's not hard times, though. They're creating their own hard problems.
Well,
I mean, we're not talking about a single mom that's having a problem buying her kid some shoes. I got no problem with helping somebody like that. It's people that want extra shit.
Right.
And they think that everybody owes them something. Let me ask you a question. If your house burned down today, do you have insurance?
I do.
Why do you have insurance?
In case my house burns down. I can't pay for another one.
So the reason you're doing it is to offset your cost and to leverage in case of an accident.
Yeah.
Right? Same reason I have insurance. Do you enjoy paying $300 a month or whatever you pay for your insurance, or $500 or $600?
No.
Not at all. Nobody does. Everybody hates fucking paying insurance, but it's responsible, right?
Yep.
Okay. Wears me out. Someone has a house fire. The first thing that they do is they need to go fund me stuff. How come these people don't ever have insurance? I don't like paying for fucking insurance. I hate this shit. But I have to have it.
Guess people are living hand to mouth, Jeff.
But they choose you. An insurance should be a priority.
Well, I mean, not if it should be. Should insurance take precedent over feeding your family?
Do you think these people are having trouble feeding their families the reason they don't have insurance?
I don't know what their financial situations are, but some people might be caught between, do I feed my family this month or do I pay for that insurance that may or may not hit?
Maybe you ought to do away with your fucking cell phone and your beers.
You can't get away with your cell phone. How's your boss going to reach you when it's time to work?
Call you on your other line. What about your beers? I see people all the time that don't ever pay for insurance, but they do every fucking thing else they do, but then something happens, they want everybody else to pay for the shit, and it wears me out. Insurance is expensive. I don't like paying for my insurance either.
Well,
between life insurance, business insurance, homeowners insurance, and everything, we spend a fucking ton of money every month on insurance that we never, ever freaking use, but we have to have it. Yep. I can tell you right now, if my house caught on to fire today and it burned to the ground, I'm not getting on Facebook trying to raise money to get shit for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is too publicly accepted to ask for shit these days.
Well, I mean, that's not going to change anytime soon. Nobody's going to pull themselves up by them bootstraps.
I read a story today about Katharine Hepburn. It's pretty interesting. Katharine Hepburn was a teenager, and her and her dad went to the circus to see the Barnum and Bailey circus.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in line to do it, and in front of them was a family of 10, 8 kids, a mom, and a dad. They were really happy people. You could tell they didn't have a lot of money, she said, but they were clean, and they were respectful, and they were going to see the circus. They were so excited. I'm assuming this was probably in the mid-1930s, knowing how old she was. So anyways, they get up there, and the lady is just so happy and smitten with her husband. He goes, I'd like 8 tickets for the circus for my kids and 2 for me and my wife. And she said, okay. And the lady told her it'd be $20, whatever the answer was. And the guys went to just lips quivering. How much was it? And she said again, he didn't have enough money. And Katharine Hepburn's dad took $20 out of his pocket. He said, sir. He said, this fell out of your pocket just now, and handed him a $20 bill.
Oh, that's nice.
And the guy shook his hand. He said, thank you so much for my family. The guy knew that it wasn't his $20 bill. He knew this guy was helping him.
Right.
And it paid for their deal. Katharine Hepburn said they got in the car and went home because that $20 was for them to go to the circus. But she said, we went home with so much love in our heart and happy that we could help people.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was a very nice gesture. We are so far gone from that today in the society we live in, where everybody asks for shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was fixing to have to tell his family, I'm sorry, we don't have money to go, and they were going to go home. Well, today we don't have any of that humbleness in our world. We always ask everybody for shit.
I don't see anybody asking to go to Six Flags, though.
Oh, I'm sure there probably is somebody, but you're correct on that part. But they ask for everything else. We're in a society right now where I had the conversation with one of the ladies that works here. Braces for your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
If my kids wanted braces for your teeth, all three of you boys had braces. Me and Mom had to pay for them.
Yep.
Today, what do? The government's paying for braces. Where in the hell did anybody ever come up with a straight teeth or a fundamental need for people?
I do think it's. I think they figured it out. You got to have straight teeth.
Why?
I don't know.
So you think it's good to take taxpayer dollars to pay for our base straight teeth?
Jeff, you've given $100 billion to the fucking Ukraine. I think we can afford a fucking pair of braces.
So you're okay with that then?
Jeff, what's the national debt? Just ring it up.
You're okay with this? You're taking your money.
Ring it up.
You're taking your money.
Ring it up.
Man,
if it gets a kid in the hood with a fresh grill, fucking ring it up.
Nope.
We're sending it all over to the Ukraine anyway. Fuck it. You've said it before. This check, we're never going to cash this check. So what does it matter?
We're not going to cash it ever. But me and a farmer were talking this morning about all this shit, about how they overtax the shit out of us.
They do.
Working people.
They do.
They tax us on every fucking thing.
Yet they still run on a deficit.
And they're always going to.
Well, yeah.
But there has to be some. But we as society have to stand up to some of this shit and say, I'm tired of this crap. Well, and straight teeth is one of them that wears me out.
Why?
Because I had to pay for y'all to have straight teeth.
Right. I get it.
And I have to pay for insurance. They used to wear me out as a fucking judge when someone would get a ticket for not having insurance on their cars. And every fucking excuse in the book was given to me. And I'd be like, I have to have it.
Yeah.
So you should have to have it too. You know? You're driving a vehicle. If you have an accident and you run into somebody, why should their insurance have to cover your fuck up?
Mm-hmm.
And shit goes on. Oh, now we're going to pull up the debt clock here.
There it is, right there.
I don't even know how much that is.
That is, so there's
33 billion or trillion?
Trillion. 33 trillion. And we're crossing over. Yeah, it's just racking it up. That almost looks like Jeff Bezos' bank account. We've gained 100. Oh, fuck. We've gained 200,000. Oh, no. We've gained 300,000 in national debt in that little bit of time. Almost $1 million. Oh, we're about to cross $1 million right now.
Debt per every citizen is in debt $100,000 right
just
now.
for being born here.
Now, that's what's funny. The debt per citizen is $100,000. Debt to taxpayer is $259,000. Some of you fuckers need to come up and pull up your end of the deal.
What did you just say?
$259,000 per taxpayer. It's $100,000 per citizen.
Oh.
So what's happening is people like us, we're more in debt than anybody else is because we have fucking jobs.
What does this mean right here? It's in the green.
Which one were you at?
Federal tax revenue. Oh, that's the tax
how much
revenue.
money it's
that's how
coming
much.
in. Yeah. $4 trillion
$4
fucking
trillion
dollars
versus 33. Ring them up.
Yeah.
Fresh teeth for everybody. I'm good with it.
See, I'm so tired of that shit. The reason why we've gotten this point is people like us don't care. And we should care.
We've added millions just sitting here.
Yeah. And we've got nothing out of this.
Not a thing. Roads suck. Bridges are terrible. Overpasses I wouldn't trust. Nothing. That's what for 33 trillion. You know what all we could have done over here? My street should be like glass when I drive down it.
I don't understand how we keep letting these politicians by with this shit. It's the same fuckers. Like I saw where Liz Cheney come out bitching about Donald Trump today. You're not fucking elected. Go back to Wyoming, where you probably never lived anyways, and get a fucking job or go right off in the fucking set. You were $12 million. You somehow accumulated $12 million worth of money while you sit there doing your job for 6 years on $170,000 a year salary.
Here's a scary one: is credit card debt. $1 trillion.
Our country is $1 trillion in credit, or is that U.S. citizens?
I'm assuming U.S. citizens. We're $1 trillion in debt. $8,000 per household.
Largest-
I don't know how that works.
Largest budget items are Medicare and Medicaid, Social Security, and defense spending. Now, go back to the left on that for a minute. Our Medicare and Medicaid is $1.4 trillion.
I don't know how that popped up.
I don't have a problem with us helping old retired people.
I don't know what blue means. Is blue good?
I just think it's just a different color. I don't think there's anything good on that whole fucking page you're looking at. But we're $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion we're spending on Medicare and Medicaid. How much of that is fraud?
Well,
Because
$1 trillion.
right now, we've got a doctor out here that's fucking putting braces on kids' teeth, and he's fucking the government all the time on this shit. I know he is.
Well, they did that on, and I never finished the series, but it was a spinoff of Dope Sick that was just on Netflix. Basically, the doctor would he was fucking the government out of MRIs or X-rays. I can't remember, but basically he got audited and he got dinged up. I don't even know if he got dinged up. I think he got a slap on his wrist.
They do that shit all the time.
Charging people. She was like, I need to see you're billing everybody for an MRI or whatever. She's like, I need to see your MRI machine. And it might have been an X-ray. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. But he was like, well, it's back in the accounting room. She was like, okay, well, let's go take a look at it. And like, it's just got boxes of shit on it. Like, he's not using that fucking thing, but he's billing the government for it. Just a small little doctor and a small little practice. And he knew that he could, everybody that came in, he could be like, oh, you need this. And he wouldn't do it, but he would bill them for it.
When I had my tonsils taken out almost 20 years ago, and when I got my tonsils taken out, they gave me a chest x-ray.
Yeah, right.
Lubbock Covenant Hospital or Lubbock, whatever, one of the big hospitals in Lubbock did that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, they did that so they could charge my fucking insurance company an extra $1,000.
Yeah.
So everybody that had any kind of surgical procedure at all time had a chest x-ray done.
Right.
So they could buck and make an extra $1,000. That's the kind of shit that wears me out.
Well,
it's crazy, but we don't do nothing about it.
it's not illegal, though.
But it should be.
If a doctor says, oh, no, he needs a chest x-ray before we take his tonsils out, then
You got to have a reason why you have to have it.
the doctor said so.
You know what I mean?
The doctor said so.
So it'd be a
Jameson
legit.
just got caps on, just got not caps, but he got fillings. And I mean, he had to have a full blown physical before, because he had to be put under. So Jesse had to take him last week to have a full blown physical to make sure he was fit enough to do the dental procedure.
It's a 4-year-old kid. He's fit.
Fit enough, yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous, though. But that's the kind of stuff that we get by with that we don't ever do nothing about. We just accept it.
Well, I mean, if the dentist is like, hey, I want him to get checked out to make sure we can put him under or his life's in jeopardy, I'm going to take him to the doctor.
I assume maybe 10% of kids really need that done.
Probably.
The other
but
90% don't.
But the 10% that don't get it done, that die on the operating table of getting fucking fillings put in their teeth, are suing the doctors.
I'm watching Aaron Rodgers
CYA.
right now throwing the ball, and that is absolutely amazing that he's 7 weeks away from a physical. I mean, from a
CYA. Look at the feet on that guy. Think he's got a big hog?
probably so.
He's got some fucking feet on him. If he's got a dick half the size of his feet, then he's a shower, not a grower.
He's throwing the ball around. But
55 yards in the air.
it's crazy. But all this stuff we pay for.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. You go buy a tank of gas right now. Exxon spends so much money on to drill a well. And they do so much money to produce a gallon of gas. And then their profit margin, I'll bet you if you look up right now, I bet Exxon or Shell does not make 10 cents a gallon profit on fuel.
We're going to go back to this.
But I'll bet you the American government makes $1.
Okay, what am I looking at? Exxon.
How much profit does Exxon make on per gallon of gas?
Okay.
Or Shell or whatever. They're all going to be close to the same.
Let me if I'm going to get that number because CNN wants to make them seem vicious. So I don't know if it's going to say per gallon.
All they're going to say is they made $300 trillion profit this quarter.
Yeah,
whatever
they
it is.
made, how much profit does Exxon make per gallon? Here, I'll bring it over here. Yeah, they're trying to make them seem bad. ExxonMobil scores enormous profit on record gas price. CNN, Exxon announces record earnings as profit. Maybe I'll find something inside of there, but I doubt it. 56 billion in 2022. Chevron got 35 billion, but I don't know if they're going to show per gallon of gas. We might be able to see how much they sold and divide it.
Yeah, I don't know if you do the
Okay,
math.
hold on. If you do the math, Exxon made some 6.3 million in profit. Oh, that's
every hour.
100,000 per minute. But how much are they getting out of the fucking ground?
And how much fucking jobs did they create doing this? That's what pisses me off. They create a ton of jobs and ton of tax. What they ought to say is, and the United States government made more tax money off of Exxon because of all the fucking way they fuck everybody all the time. Anyways, the United States government.
I'm going to go to DuckDuckGo. That's usually better.
I bet the government's making 60 cents a gallon taxes on a gallon of gas. And I'll bet Exxon does not make that much. And the government actually invests $0 doing it.
The United States federal excise tax on gasoline is 18.4 cents per gallon and 24.4 cents per gallon of diesel. So gas is $3 here, basically, $2.99.
Yeah, so basically
they get 18 cents.
Yeah, so they're making about 5%. And I'll bet you that the profit margin on that is not much more than that.
Right.
It's crazy though that we just accept this shit. They tax. If you're a business and you make any kind of dollar at all, you're supposed to give the government half of what you fucking make. Why? Mm-hmm. Why do we have to give the government half? They don't do shit for us. Do you get Medicare and Medicaid? Your kids get braces? Fuck no. All we do is spin, giving to somebody else. And then I don't mind me helping my neighbor, but we don't help my neighbor. We give our fucking money to Ukraine and to all these other fucking countries that hate us. If we give $1 to Palestine, that's $1 more than we should give them. Mm-hmm. If we give $1 to Iraq, Iran, any of them fucking countries that hate us, I don't understand why we owe them a thing. I just don't get it. Why do we owe the world to be their police, their banking, anything? We don't owe that.
I can't find anything per gallon of gas for Exxon. It just shows the gross. But
I'm going to look it up. There's got to be a way on here. There has to be. But it's the same old all the time.
Does Exxon sell gas, though, or do they just sell the oil?
Well, they sell gas. Chevron, Exxon, all of them do. Shell. They're in the oil business. I mean, they're in the gasoline business. I mean, I don't know that how much. I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of Exxon gas stations. We don't have them here now, but we used to.
$3 per share. I don't know. I can't find anything.
Well, everything they do is, I mean, they employ a ton of people, but they make a ton of money, but they also give tons of jobs. That's what, they never ever say that shit. You know, they always want to come out like they're just horrible, vicious companies. How come Apple always skirts by on not being a horrible, vicious company?
Because nobody sees the little kids mining for lithium in Ethiopia or wherever it is. It's not Ethiopia, wherever it is.
It's crazy that some companies get a free pass and others don't.
Yeah.
A gas retailer makes 3 cents a gallon on gas.
Not very well. I don't feel bad for them, but
I'm not saying that, but they get 3 cents a gallon. Just the retailers do. The government's getting 20 cents.
Right.
The government is doing nothing to make their money, but they sure got their hand in it.
Yeah.
This is so crazy to see.
This is the bottom of the supply chain of your iPhone, of your Tesla, of your Samsung. I mean, I'm just naming those companies.
Right.
It's all of them, right? All of them. We're not just picking on them. And here's what you need to know, Joe, about this video. I was the first outsider to get into this mine. And that's why it's just a really short video that I was able to take. This is an industrial cobalt mine where there's not supposed to be one artisanal miner. Now, that's the term used for people who are just digging by hand as opposed to tractors and excavators. There's not supposed to be one here. That's what the story is told at the top of the chain. This mine, and I can name it, it's called Shabara. There's not supposed to be one artisanal miner here, according to the consumer-facing.
So there's your lithium mine versus your oil field.
They're terrible. But we just give them a free pass on stuff.
I do like my iPhone.
Well, I understand your iPhone, but all that whole going green stuff is not good. But they don't cover any of it at all.
Well, too many people would have to feel bad because everybody's got an iPhone. Some people can drive their Tesla and feel okay. You know? Cobalt mine.
Did you see where GM or one of them has somebody come out and said that they cannot do these EVs? It's not profitable for them.
I mean, kind of everybody figured that out. The only profit is out there with the old oil. Your old gas guzzler.
And natural gas.
Yeah.
Which burns clean. And they don't like it either.
No. Nothing that's efficient they like, unfortunately.
You really think there was ever a time that you really could run a car off water? I don't think so.
Man, I don't know. I've seen that video and the guy died, and I think that's just convenience. I don't know. I'm not smart enough. I don't know how they made it work on fucking gas and oil.
You don't know how fuel makes them run.
No.
I don't either, because I'm not a mechanic.
I don't have any idea.
I understand the concept of the combustion engine, but I do not understand it because I'm not a mechanical person.
Seems difficult. Seems like water. Like it seems like if you could have made it run off of gas, you could have probably made it run off of water.
I don't know how without it. The gas burns.
I don't know.
Water.
I don't know how it burns. I don't know what it works. All I know is I turn my key or I press that button and it starts and it runs and it doesn't stop until I turn it off. That's all I know.
Do you think that
I don't know what's burning in there because like you're not supposed to put a flame to gas, right? That's not good news.
What now?
You're not supposed to put a flame to gas. It blows up. Right?
Yeah, that's what fires the cylinders and make it run.
Right. So like how do you get enough fire in there without the whole thing going kabooey? So I don't pretend to know. But I just feel like if you figured out how to get all that shit to work, probably could have made it run on gas. Probably could have made it run on, peanut oil. Avocado oil.
Well, oil is different than water.
Don't get me lying. You can drink them both.
I don't know about all that.
You can't drink oil? You can't go drink a teaspoon of olive oil right now?
I don't know the basics behind.
I don't either. Don't pretend to. Don't want to know. But I don't want to know. I don't want to burden my mind with knowing how a fucking combustible engine works.
But I don't think water's combustible, so it won't work.
Find a non-combustible engine.
Would you fly on a plane that flew off solar?
Yeah. I don't know why I wouldn't. Listen, if you ask the people that, watched the first planes crash, they didn't want to fly at all. All of them fall out of the sky. So, sure, enough people died before they put me on it. I'm fine with it. Get those guinea pigs out there. Let them fall out of the sky. Hopefully they found a nice runway to land on. About 5 years or so, they get all the kinks worked out. I'll hop on one. I got no problem with it. No problem at all. Just get all the kinks worked out first.
I don't see that happening.
Well, it might not.
I don't think we'll ever have solar planes.
You'd have to have a big battery. Big battery.
Have you seen the fires that they've had with the Teslas when the batteries catch on fire? They're horrible fires. They don't go out.
Oh, I can't wait to get my Cybertruck.
You ain't getting a Cybertruck.
Jeff.
You ain't getting no damn
Cybertruck. Just wait. I'll be burning down the roads here in a Cybertruck.
I'll bet
They got
you,
them in black now.
They do.
Oh,
Why don't you order you one?
they got to get all the kinks worked out. They're catching on fire apparently. Black Cybertruck. You're gonna want one now.
I got to get something new. My goddamn truck smells like something died in it. Oh,
Really?
fuck yes. I got in this morning, about threw up.
That ain't good.
I don't know what the hell got into it.
Look at
Happy
there.
told me that it's in my air filter.
Well, I'd listen to Happy. He's a welder.
I'm going to have him go take it apart today. We're going to look at it.
There's that old black one.
That's a terrible looking truck. Don't even look good.
Imagine pulling up to pick Reese up in that at school.
Everybody laughing at
Oh,
you.
everybody would love it. I wouldn't even drive anymore. Be done driving.
Do what?
Yeah, I'm not going to drive. I'm going to get the one that self-drives.
I thought they were doing away with that by law.
What?
I think by law they're trying to change that where you can't do self-driving.
Why?
Fucking people are dying.
Is this fucking America or not? We took drinking and driving away. Now all of a sudden you got to wear a fucking seatbelt. Now you're
What do you
telling
mean
me
we took drinking and driving away?
you used to be able to drink and drive
So you think you should be able to drink and drive
safely? Yeah.
safely?
You know, if a guy, listen, who am I to tell a hardworking guy, he's been in the fucking trenches all day, slinging a hammer, and he wants to pop a beer on the way home from work? Just one.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Just
they don't
one.
have just one.
Just one. Just one. Maybe pop the second one as he's pulling in the driveway to go kiss his wife on the head.
What about
and
the
pat-
guy who kills an innocent family on the way because
I'm
he's
not
drinking
for
and
that.
driving?
You got to be responsible.
You can drink and drive. You just can't be drunk.
No, you got open container laws.
Well, they don't really do much about that shit.
And if you get caught with an open container,
you get a ticket.
you're going to have to blow.
No, you don't.
They're going to take blood from you.
No, they don't.
You're going to get arrested.
No, you don't.
You'll lose your license.
No, you don't.
Yes, you will.
I have had 100 open container tickets, and
Of
ain't nobody
beer.
lost a fucking license
Of
ever.
beer.
Yes, and whiskey.
So you're telling me that if I'm driving down the road and the cop pulls me over and I've just cracked my first beer,
yes, you're gonna get a ticket for $312.50.
so when,
And you're gonna go on home. They're not even they're not even doing shit. They're gonna take your beer and pour it out and put the fucking can in a Ziploc bag, and you're gonna come to court and you're gonna plead guilty or not guilty. And if you plead not guilty and it shows you with the beer coming out of your deal, it's $312.50.
really?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think they're gonna take you to jail for that?
I thought you automatically got like a DUI, driving under the influence. There's it's once you blow,
0.08.
that's D wobbly. 0.08 is a D wobbly. Anything under that is a DUI.
No, it's not.
Horse shit, Jeff.
No, it's not.
I fucking know my rights.
Yeah, your right is to be stupid and get a fucking ticket for drinking one beer. If you don't blow over 0.08, you're not getting a fucking ticket for nothing more than an open container.
No,
Yes.
the cutoff is a 0.08.
Yeah, that's a drunk.
Anything higher than 0.08 is a DWI, driving while intoxicated.
Driving under the influence could be drugs or whatever it is.
Driving under the influence is under 0.08.
They're not going to give you it's not going to be nothing more than an open container. If you blow 0.04, you're not breaking the law.
Sounds like you were a pushover as a judge. Is what I'm getting out of this.
There's no law there.
What do you mean?
If you blow 0.07, you're not going to nothing. There's nothing wrong. You're within your legal rights. You're not a drunk driver.
So what's a DUI?
Driving under the influence. It can be more than just alcohol. It can be pot. It can be whatever you want to.
I think you need to look up the law again, bub.
Look it up right now.
I'm going to.
All right.
So anyway, we've taken that away from the hardworking backbone.
Being a drunk driver?
The backbone of America that wants to crack one beer on his 7-mile commute from home. We've taken it away.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
No.
It's a ticket. It's $312. He's doing good enough just to fucking put food on the table. Now he's going to get hit with a $312 ticket for having a little beer on his way home from work.
Don't give him a probable cause. They won't pull you over.
Jeff, beer's expensive. You think he can fix that tail light?
Okay. All right. So
Cops fucking
so
harassing.
what was your second part of this whole deal?
Seatbelts. I got to wear a seatbelt now.
You have a problem with the seatbelt?
It's not the fact if I have a problem with it. It's just our rights as Americans are getting stripped.
So you think that you should be able to drive without a seatbelt on?
By one. And it's all under the guise of safety. It's all under the guise of Big Brother knows best. Do what I'm telling you. you're going to thank me for it. Put on your seatbelt, you little sheep. Put on your mask. Go get vaccinated. Flu's coming around. You need to get that also.
So
guess what? There's a zombie virus in Sweden now.
do you put your kid's seatbelt on?
Absolutely, I
Why?
do. Because it's probably good.
So,
But to mandate it into law, I have a problem with.
so if there wasn't a law, your kids wouldn't be in seatbelts.
Yes, they would.
Why?
Because they need to be in a seatbelt. It could save their
Okay.
life potentially.
Well, so then what's
but
why
for
is-
the fucking man to tell me that I got to put my kid in a seatbelt,
what about the poor kid whose parents suck as parents? And if it wasn't for that,
they're
would put
going
their
to suck regardless.
But now with
they're
that,
probably drinking and driving, Jeff.
but they have to put their kid in a seatbelt now.
They don't have to.
Well, they get a ticket if they don't.
Well,
So you're okay with that?
what? Giving them a ticket?
No.
Fucking be a bad parent if you want to be a bad parent.
So an innocent child should die because his parents are an idiot.
Innocent kids die all the time for stubbornness.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Jeff. If you look, we're getting stripped away of our rights, and it's all under the greater good complex. This is for the greater good.
I'm not saying there's not some laws that are stupid, but I want you to tell me which one of your freedoms has been stolen by a law right now.
Anything in a vehicle.
Tell me, name one.
Anything in a vehicle. I can't do anything in a vehicle. Can't speed. Can't roll stop signs. I gotta have insurance.
Why would there be stop sign if there are no laws?
Huh?
There wouldn't be a stop sign if there weren't no laws.
Well, I should be
Okay.
able to go if I'm in a hurry, Jeff,
right.
and I don't have time to stop at that motherfucker.
You're driving back to town in that brand new Ford pickup that you drive,
Or my 08 Dodge.
or your brand new pickup. Okay,
Or my 08.
But we're going to use your brand new pickup, your brand new Ford pickup,
Okay.
and you're driving back to town, and some dipshit runs a lot, and he doesn't have insurance. You wouldn't care if he had insurance because you think the law is stupid.
No,
Right.
he needs insurance.
Why?
By God, I've got insurance. You should have insurance.
Okay, but you just said that's against your rights.
I never said anything about insurance.
You did too just a minute ago.
No, my main beef is drinking and driving and no seatbelt.
So you should be able to drink and drive. Okay, let's
One
say
beer.
that guy that runs a stop sign has been drinking, driving drunk, and he runs
Jeff,
into you.
it says on the commercials, which everybody should pay attention to, drink responsibly.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with open container.
Yeah, well,
I think if you want to have a beer and drive, if you've had one beer, I don't have a problem with that. One beer. The problem is people don't know how to just have one beer.
that is true.
They have no self
Regulator.
constraint, regulation, whatever you want to call it. So I don't have a problem with that. So what other one of your rights have been invoked by our government that they've taken from you?
I had to wear a mask forever.
That
Or I
was
couldn't-
stupid as fuck.
Or I couldn't, shop.
Those but up until the last 5 years, which one of your rights have been invoked? Because let's be honest with you. COVID was nothing more than our fucking government trying to control people and see how much they could get by with. So which other one of your rights have been stolen lately and infringed upon? Do you want to talk about guns?
Go ahead.
I mean, do you feel like you're being infringed on your gun rights?
I've not bought a gun recently.
Do you feel like
I'm sure there are. You should just be able to trade them over the counter, Jeff. Now look at all the paperwork you got to do.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. What about shotgun shells? Anybody should be able to buy ammo, don't you think?
I would think so.
Do you think 21
so.
is fair on a drinking age?
I think that it has not stopped a single person that wanted to drink sooner.
I think drinking age should be 19. And I'll tell you why not 18. 18 is not fair because there's too many people that are 18 years old that are still in high school. And if 18-year-old kid in high school's got it, your 15-year-old kids are drinking, which they're probably going to drink anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But at 19, you should be getting kids out of high school, so at least they're not in school. 21, I think, is way overboard. I think we're going way too far on that. I think the legal voting age should be about 32. But that'll never happen. If it's up to the Democrats, we'd vote at 12.
Well, you think that's too early? 12? I'll just find you all the shit that's been taken away from us, Jeff. Should a woman be able to choose what she does with her body?
This is probably going to really shock some people, but I don't care if she has an abortion or not. That's between her and God. I'm never going to have an abortion. I don't believe in abortion. I don't think abortion should be used as an excuse for you having sex and not protecting yourself. But if someone gets raped or someone has incest or something like that, or they've got a child that's going to maybe
Very small.
the 1% deal, I have a problem with it for them having to be told they can't have one. But then you go into the moral deal is of, well, if it's murder, it's murder.
Mm-hmm.
But for a girl to be just a whore and out running around banging every guy in town and having 2 or 3 abortions, and I actually have known some women that did that years and years ago. I think it's wrong. But but here's the thing. That's my opinion on the deal. I don't think it should be a law. I think if you want to have an abortion, knock yourself out. That's between you and God. But don't make me pay for it. It shouldn't be paid for by the American taxpayer. Which so
Be a
much shit.
hoodlum on your own dime.
Yep. So much shit the American taxpayer gets called for that just blows my mind.
Should we? No, probably shouldn't do that.
Should we what?
Be able to torture, the mentally handicapped.
Oh, first of all,
Forced lobotomies and stuff like that.
Explain to me us torturing mentally handicapped.
Well, the forced lobotomy thing's a little.
Well, when's the
out
last
there.
time they done that shit?
Well, it's been a while.
Okay,
So
what
we'll be
else?
able to do it
What
in the name
else?
of science, in the name of
No,
Big Brother knows best.
no, Big Brother don't know shit. What else?
Send us all of your slow people, and we'll run a roto-rooter up their nose.
No, tell me what else.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think we should be doing experiments on people.
But I thought that's how you learn, right?
Well, yes, it
Couple
is.
failed things
I
here
d-
and there. You do it on a mouse here and there, and then you're like, oh, that might work on a person.
We've got
Bring me somebody that doesn't contribute.
we got a lot
Should
of them.
people on welfare just be subject to all of these experiments?
No, but they should be on birth control.
Should they have should they be fully vaccinated if you're on welfare?
No,
You don't think so?
no.
You're on the government's dime. You should be on the government's time.
Which vaccination?
All of them. Give them all of them.
They ought to make them fucking sterile.
Oh,
If you can't afford kids, you shouldn't be fucking having kids. If you live
that's a
in,
little far out.
well, I'm
I
gonna
wouldn't
go.
say
I'm gonna,
sterile,
I'm gonna.
but-
Well, I'm gonna go even further. If you live in government housing and you're on food stamps, you should have no reason to have children. If you can't afford yourself, you don't need to be bringing another one into this world. Do you disagree with that?
I mean, how far are we going back with that rule?
What do you mean? How far back? Talking today, present, right now, today. If I was president, I'd say if I could do an executive order.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying over the course of human history, I would say most people, most of the time, were hand to mouth.
What do you mean, hand to mouth?
I would say if you back up history, most people were hand to mouth for most of the time.
You mean living paycheck to paycheck?
Or just hand to mouth. Whatever I can get for my family is what I can provide for my family.
Okay, so
So should hunter and gatherers have had the conscience to say, ooh, I might not be able to kill a buffalo.
who's paying for them shit? Themselves.
They fucking starved.
That's that. I don't have a problem with them having kids. That's their deal. They're taking care of themselves. I'm saying if the government is paying your fucking bills, and on that play right there, Justin Herbert makes a good pass like he should have made. It's not even a catch. Justin Herbert sucks. I'm telling you, most overrated quarterback in the NFL. We're watching a film.
I'm glad I got him on my fantasy team.
He's a good fantasy quarterback.
Fuck, 7 points.
That's tasty. They won though, but he is not a good. He's not a good
I
quarterback.
needed Justin Herbert to have 2 more points in the Jets defense, and he didn't do it.
No. Back to the hunter gatherer and all that stuff. If you're paying for your own children, then it's none of our business what you're doing to raise them. It's your kids. But if you're asking me to put a roof over their head, or you're asking me to provide them medical stuff or food, then yes, if you can't afford that, you shouldn't be having kids. It's pretty simple. Same with puppies. If you can't fucking afford to have that dog, don't get another fucking dog. And I know people that do that. They got 20 fucking dogs and they can't afford their own dog, afford one dog. If you can't afford your kids, you should not be having kids. I don't even know this part. Your wife said it best one time. Your wife went to school with a girl that had about 15 fucking kids. Has never had a job, but she was on the government tit, so she kept getting more money every kid had. Y'all have got 2 kids because y'all can afford 2 kids. Mm-hmm. Now, I would love for y'all to have 3 kids because you can afford them. But you know that for that to do it, you're going to have to sacrifice somewhere else to have a third kid. Am I correct?
Well, we'd have to have a new house mainly.
So you'd have to make some sacrifices.
Or our 2 kids that we have would have to share a room. And listen, we're not not the little house on the prairie.
You would have
our
to
kids,
have sacrifices.
Our kids, they like their privacy.
Yeah. You would have to sacrifice.
Well, they would. I wouldn't. They'd have to sleep with themselves. They'd have to sleep with each other. Did you and Tony grow up in the same room?
Yes.
Was it bad?
We fought every fucking day. We grew up
When
poor.
did you get your own room?
When I was 19 years old.
That long?
Yeah. I grew up poor. We shared a room.
Bunk beds or 2 twins?
We had bunk beds and then 2 twins.
When you were 19, you got your own room.
Yep. Poor. Poor. With
Well.
capital Po. But you know what? But
So how did you go to sleep?
close my fucking eyes.
What if I guess Tony didn't snore back then?
No, thank fucking God.
But what if Tony? I mean, you just both close your eyes and just go to sleep?
I guess. I don't remember it being. I didn't
It
know.
wasn't an
I didn't
issue?
know any difference.
Oh,
I also grew up having fucking an air conditioner or a window open and a box fan. I mean, it was poor. But poor people didn't have the government paying their shit. I'm telling you right now, growing up, my mom could have been on food stamps when we got food stamp money. Never did it because she worked all the time.
I'd like to know the percentage of kids that do share a room with their spouse.
Poor kids a lot. Rich kids, they don't.
Because, let's say we have a third kid. Baby would obviously go to its own room.
Y'all would have a 3-bedroom house.
But
just
what
like
I'm
we
saying
have.
is there's no 3-bedroom houses in Knox City to go get. That's
I'll
the problem.
sell you a 4-bedroom house.
No. When does Reese get... Because, one of them, the baby can't just have his own room forever. You'd have to shuffle.
That would be y'all's call to make. But
But that's what I'm saying.
let me tell you something.
That's way too complicated.
Privacy is rich people's problems. When
Yeah.
you're poor, you don't have privacy. Rich people have privacy. Even the rich kids have privacy. You know, did you share a room growing up?
Nope.
No, we had a 4-bedroom house. Thank God.
I didn't want to share a bedroom
No,
with him.
nobody ever wants to. But that's what we have. That's where our government has gotten to us, is we've given all these people this shit. They get these government apartments with 2 and 3 bedrooms. We give mom an extra check if she gets knocked up by somebody else. We pay money for them to go get their braces. We pay for their braces. They pay for all their medicine. If a dirt poor kid in Reese's class has something happen at school, they go to the doctor and nothing. They don't have to do that shit. You, on the other hand, are going to have to fill out all kinds of fucking paperwork because you have a job and pay taxes. What we have done as a society is we have rewarded those who don't do shit, and we have vilified those who do get ahead. And it's not right.
Speaking of those that get ahead, see if this makes sense to you. This is what the Rockefellers have done. This is how they've stayed in a good position forever.
Family trust.
The Rockefellers are one of the most powerful, richest, elite families in the world. John D. Rockefeller was the guy who really blew up the entire oil industry in America. And what they do, and the reason why they're still one of the wealthiest and most powerful families on the planet 7 generations later, is because of something called the Rockefeller waterfall method. The Vanderbilts were just as powerful and actually had more money than them. They blew all of their money by the 4th generation. The Vanderbilts literally are not even part of the conversation anymore. What is the waterfall method? The waterfall method is every single individual of the Rockefeller family got a very large life insurance policy put on them. The beneficiaries of those life insurance policies always tied back to the trust. And then inside of the trust was a cash value life insurance policy, which is used as the family bank. Now the family bank is inside the trust, so it acts as like a family vault. Now all the family members can take loans from the cash value life insurance throughout their whole life. When they die and pass away, that death benefit pays it all back, therefore replenishing all the funds that they used throughout their life. And with every single generation, the family trust just keeps getting poured in with more and more and more and more money, therefore making the family richer and more powerful, therefore creating
Pretty damn smart.
But that doesn't make sense, because how does the family get richer and richer? Because basically you take out a life insurance policy, right? Then you live off of that life insurance policy.
Let me give you a simple math on this.
Okay.
They take out a policy on you take out a policy on Jameson when he's born for
Right.
$100 million,
Okay.
and you pay that $100 million premium, and it starts out pretty cheap because they're kids.
Right.
And if you work it out real good and you do it on, let's say, 80 years. For 80 years, I'm going to pay for this, and you get it on a term life, I think, or a whole life, whatever. I don't know much on the insurance. But if you take out a $100 million policy and you're paying $1,500 a month, $3,000 a month, whatever it is, well, over his lifetime, he is not going to spend but $60 million. So when he dies, you collect $100 million, and you're $40 million ahead to add to what else you've got in that vault, which is growing at probably 5 to 10%. Is probably how they're doing it. That's like me. I don't have a lot of money in the bank to leave y'all when I die because I spend it, and I'm going to continue to spend my money. But I've got a pretty big life insurance policy. So when I die, you guys are all going to get some life insurance money, a pretty good chunk of change apiece. All three
Right.
boys are. Unless y'all piss me off and I give it to my grandkids. But y'all are going to get some money when me and mom die because I've got a big one on her too. And that's how I have it done. Instead of us giving you a checking account with a lot of money in it, we're going to give you a big life insurance policy to cash in. Now, everything we own is paid for, so y'all can fight over that shit.
So basically, their life insurance policy is bigger than what,
They're going to spend in their life.
and then the excess.
Goes into the family trust.
Huh.
Their family trust has got a life insurance policy on it. And let's be honest with you, the Rockefellers, the Kennedys would be really a good investment in that because they're going to die young because shit happens to them.
Rockefellers do?
I think they've got a pretty big list of people that die. One of them got cannibalized in
Saw
Africa.
that.
But
Poor fucker didn't know. They took a last picture and he didn't even realize it. He was
Yep.
smiling with the
and they're
pygmies.
fixing to eat him.
Dumbass.
But that's what you're going to be dealing with, and so that's how that system works on that deal. Now you get
so
some
they're
fucker-
not getting like $100,000 life or $500,000 life insurance.
No,
policy.
I'm assuming they're taking out $10 to $50 million policies.
Right. Because I mean, let's face it. If you take out a $1 million life insurance policy on Reese or whatever,
He's going to spend more than $1 million in his life.
right? There ain't gonna be nothing left.
No, but you also got to think they've mixed that into all kinds of stuff. They own Standard Oil, so it's not like they don't have a lot of Exxon stock.
Right. Right.
Or not only just Exxon stock, they probably have all invested all kinds of stuff. Their property. We went to their farm that they've got right outside of New York. You know, they own 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 acres on the Hudson River right there outside New York City. Don't tell them what that shit's worth.
But how do they all? I mean, there's 1 million of them now.
Well, I don't know how many they do. The Vanderbilts, I don't know how broke they still are, but Cornelius Vanderbilt, he built Vanderbilt University. They own the Breakers. They're not too fucking broke because the house at the Breakers they gave to the Rhode Island Preservation Society is probably worth $50 million.
But how does any Vanderbilt have money right now?
I'm assuming they're still living off of the trust. That if you got stuff put in a trust and it's drawing 5 to 10% interest, you're still making a ton of money off stuff. You think about
So
this.
they all just get it.
Well, they've got it split down. It goes to whoever they want to send it to. When you die, you can will it out. Let's say it started out with just three siblings.
This says Anderson Cooper inherited $1.5 million.
Okay. He makes more than that in a year.
I understand that, but that's what a Vanderbilt gets.
Okay, well, there you go. You take your 1.5 million and you put it in a relatively pretty safe, you're going to get 7% interest on it. So you're making $80,000 a year. Now it's not going to live the lifestyle he's used to living, but could you imagine getting $7,000 a month for the rest of your life?
Total of $293 million. Oh no, that's the Vanderbilt University.
But you take any person that way. Let's say you got $5 million.
$200 million is what the Vanderbilts were worth.
The trust was worth $200 million.
Now it's down to 1.5. Everybody in the trust gets 1.5.
No,
At
no,
one
no, no.
time it was 200 million.
That's two completely different things. The $200 million is the bulk share of the deal. 1.5 million might be his cash for the interest for a year. $200 million is going to generate somewhere around $20 million in interest.
Okay. The Rockefellers. Rockefeller family is one of the most well-known. I just saw it. The family fortune was valued at over $600 billion in today's money. Let's see. Let's see. Rockefeller himself is said to have gifted over $500 million in charities.
It's worth $8.4 billion now.
Where do you see that?
Right above there, and it's spread out among 70 heirs. Okay. Now, $8.4 billion is going to be safely $400 million a year.
Over 70 people?
70 people are getting $400 million, $400 million a year. So they're still getting, all of them are getting $50 to $60 million a year.
Okay, that's the Rockefellers.
Okay, right.
Now, here are the Vanderbilts. 70% of their family you lose wealth in the second generation, 90%.
According to NASDAQ, most do, not all.
While the Rockefellers managed to resist the outcome, the Vanderbilts lived to tell the cautionary tale. Okay, so by the time Gloria Vanderbilt passing, her estate had dwindled from $200 million to $1.5 million.
That was just her, and that's what she gave her son, because Anderson Cooper is her son.
Well, are there any numbers here?
He makes $11 million a year.
Who does?
Anderson Cooper.
No.
Yeah, it says
he never planned on inheriting money. Oh, well, yeah, he does that from CNN.
That's what I just said. He makes,
but not every Vanderbilt is doing that. That's just Anderson.
His money is $11 million a year.
Why don't I have
keep going down?
Why don't I have a breakdown like the Rockefellers?
Because they're broke.
But no, it said how many heirs the Rockefellers had, how much they get. Because this is not here for the Vanderbilts.
Well, because they're broke. There was no apparent. Hold on, just a minute. They had no estate planning.
And the Rockefellers did?
Yes, they did it. But the Rockefellers have got 70 heirs.
Right. I wanted to see how many Vanderbilts they had to do apples to apples.
And their estate's worth $8.4 billion. $8.4 billion they've got. That means they're probably, let's just say cash flow is probably $100 million a year is just the cash flow. So if 70 guys are getting $1.5 million apiece, each guy in the family's getting, or each person's getting $100,000 a month just on cash flow. Mm-hmm. Now that's not counting stuff. You know that some of that land's worth a ton of money. You know it's worth it's worth $1 billion, but they're not making cash flow on it of 5 or 10%.
Right.
But how much stock do you think they own in Exxon and Chevron? A ton.
I mean, either way, that's just Anderson Cooper's mom, Gloria. And she went from $200 million to 1.5.
I bet she spent a lot of money.
Well, she had to have.
And she probably didn't give two shits about giving anything to Anderson Cooper or her boys. She wanted to live her life.
Wouldn't you figure that everybody at that generation generate whatever she was in the line of heirs to the Vanderbilts?
It depends on how
probably all got about $200 million.
It depends on how it went. Maybe not. Maybe her dad. You know, here's the thing. You've got two brothers. One of y'all is going to make a whole lot more money than the other two's going to, no matter who it's going to be. And they're going to leave their kids their money. It's not all going to be in the family money estate.
Right.
So maybe they all started out with $100 million, and one of the Vanderbilts is worth $300 million now, and the other one's worth $1 million.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that the two prominent families in the 1800s took different paths. I was really hoping that we would see how many heirs, what the number was.
The Vanderbilts spent their money different because they were new money. The Rockefellers were considered old money.
Really? Even back then?
Yeah, they looked down on the Vanderbilts were really looked down on by the people like Jacob Astor and all of them, like at Newport, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a new movie out on Netflix or a new show out called The Gilded Age, it's in season 2, and I think it's basically about the Vanderbilts. They don't call it, they never say that, but he was a train tycoon, and they had a lot of new money. And she was shunned by the society there because they were new money, even though they had more money than all them other people did. And in this show, The Gilded Age, her husband puts the thumb down on another guy because his wife kind of snobs his wife.
Right.
It doesn't include her in some charitable event that they had.
This is from 1935, New York Times article. $16 million left, 3 trusts of Commodore in 1899 are valued at $8 million in 1934.
Which was a shitload of money back then.
but it was down. It was half
Yep.
in 35 years, basically.
Yep. Because they spent it all. They never ever just buy gaudy shit.
I don't know. It's interesting.
The Rockefellers own land. They owned a lot of stuff like that. The Vanderbilts bought these big old mansions. The house in Asheville, North Carolina, the Biltmore, is a Vanderbilt. One of the Vanderbilt boys bought it. I've got a book called The Commodore if you want to read it. It's a great book. It's a big, thick sumbitch. And it talks about all the money and how they did all that stuff. It's a great
I wonder
story.
if they got left out of the club and that's why they never figured it out.
I just don't think that I just think they kept thinking they were going to keep growing and growing and growing, and they didn't.
Because, I mean, if the Rockefellers were considered old money, then they had all these people that were on the inside telling them, like, how they needed to set everything up. And if everybody shunned the Vanderbilts,
They hated the Vanderbilts.
then they never were privy to that information. I don't feel sorry for them.
No, but they were very well hated.
You can find an accountant, a very good accountant, that will tell you what you need to do and how you need to set everything up.
Any person back then that acquired this wealth the way they did was usually a person that had pretty low morals. I'm not going to say all
Fuck
were that
somebody
way.
over.
A lot of that going on. One of the ones that really learned a lot from this was Andrew Carnegie.
Really?
Or Carnegie, however you want to pronounce his name. Yes. Him and all the other rich guys owned a hunt club somewhere outside of Pittsburgh somewhere, and they had dammed a lake up, and it rained a whole bunch. And they did not let the people know the dam was going to break, and it killed a bunch of people in a flood. And after that, Andrew Carnegie is when he started doing the Carnegie, the libraries in all the towns.
I've heard about how you just got to be ruthless.
Well, there was a lot of ruthless in all that shit. You know, how do you think the Wagner Ranch was come about?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to do it. Somebody, I'm trying to think of the Carnegie guy. Did he do something with books?
You know, he was U.S. Steel. They figured out how to do steel, and they built the first bridge across the Mississippi River.
No, I'm thinking of something else, I think. I don't know. It'll come to me at the end of here.
Carnegie and Mellon had the banks and all kinds of stuff, but he was in the steel business. And they had a lot of trouble with people picketing and rioting and trying to, you know, it's like unions. We had a real desire. We needed unions real bad back then. Mm-hmm. Safe work environments, fair pay and stuff. And I think sometimes the unions today have gotten a little ahead of themselves. And I think they've cost themselves. And there's still some really good unions out there. And I'm not a union person, but I think a lot of times unions, all they are money laundering deals for the Democrats, and they take advantage of their unions, of the actual the employees they have is the word I'm looking for.
Right. Fuck, I'm trying to find the video. I know I've seen a video on Carnegie, but I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was this one.
They all have one characteristic, is that they're tough as nails.
No, I guess he's not going to talk about it.
They're tough. They know how to make hard decisions. They're not interested in what other people think.
No, I'm not. I thought it was.
Characteristic.
That's a different one.
You think about being uber wealthy in the 1920s and 30s when most people were just trying to fucking find some oatmeal to eat for their kids.
Right.
I mean, it's not like today.
These guys that changed the world got one thing in common. They're fucking tough as nails.
I think it's just going to be the same shit.
Take no prisoners. And then we got you. A stiff drink and a good fuck could kill most people in this room.
What'd he say?
I'm ashamed to
Stiff
say.
drink would kill most people in this room.
He's right.
In fact, forget the stiff drink, just a good fuck.
He said, I like Dan Feeney. He's kind of crazy, but he's a good guy. He said, success is like being fucked. Everybody wants to tell you congratulations. Or no. He said, success is like being pregnant. Everybody wants to tell you congratulations, but nobody wants to ask how many times you got fucked.
Oh, there you go.
Old Dan. He's an interesting character. I might be able to get him on the podcast. I'll reach out.
He's an interesting guy.
He's a $1 billion man, he says.
He's worth $1 billion?
No, he says he's created people from his line have created $1 billion. I don't know.
I did know
This is my
Steve
last
Jobs.
video.
I do know Elon Musk. I do know Warren Buffett. I do know, and they're all ball busters. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as fucking nails.
Oh. All right, I'm done. I can't find it. I quit. I'll try to reevaluate. But Carnegie, he did something with books. He had to.
The libraries. Every town in America almost had a Carnegie library in it. That's where he gave his money back to.
Dale Carnegie?
No, that's the guy who wrote
How to Win Friends and
Yeah.
Influence People.
I think
How to
he's-
Stop Worrying.
Is he the one that fucking had Charles
Right.
Manson?
Yes.
That's Andrew Carnegie. That's two
Not the
completely
same
different.
one.
No.
Okay.
Dale Carnegie.
That's what I
had
was trying to find
uh,
out via TikTok.
Dale Carnegie is the God, what was the name of that?
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, he was a con artist.
Right. That's what Manson read.
Yeah. No. And there's also another one. What's the Scientology guy's name?
Oh. I think he might have read this book.
What's the Scientology guy's name?
He's like a captain, right?
I don't know if he's a captain.
He
What's
is.
his
No,
name?
I'm not bullshitting.
What the hell
you.
is his name?
Scientology founder
Ron Hubbard.
Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard. Okay, that's where I get them confused. Yeah, Dale Carnegie was a business guy. Wrote how to influence friends and family and all this other bullshit.
Right.
You know, mind control, positive thinking, all that shit.
That's what Aaron Rodgers is using right now to get back so fast.
I thought he was doing Wahuska or whatever.
No, I bet they got to be drug testing
Ayahuasca.
him now.
Somebody else in the NFL is doing that too, and I was reading about it. And I'm trying to think who it is.
Who? They're doing
I can't
ayahuasca?
remember. Yeah, and I can't remember who it was. I was talking about going and getting their soul cleansed.
Well,
their
you're
intestines.
You're going to cleanse more than that. You're going to shit through a screen door. All right.
Did you see the video before we get off of here of the Colorado train ride and the damn Bigfoot deal?
Yeah, I think I talked about it with Jessie. She thinks it's horse shit.
What do you think?
I bet it's probably somebody just screwing with that train. I bet they knew what time that train rolled by, and they're like, I'm going to get them.
Can you
Because
imagine?
nobody can get off of the train. They just got to be like, what the fuck is that? And then they're going to put their phone up.
That's a good point. Can you imagine though going out of your way that long just to fuck with somebody?
Yeah, but you don't know how far they had to go. They could have parked their car right around the corner.
I think they were middle of nowhere.
I mean, maybe.
Interesting deal. Interesting deal.
Something just popped into my head, and I can't remember what it was.
I read a book on our trip, and it was about the Indians, Iroquois Indians. I can't remember the name of the book, but all those Indian tribes, you never see anything about Sasquatch or Bigfoot. They don't talk about it at all. So, did they just become relevant in the 1930s, or when the Indians were here?
I thought some Indian tribes had a myth about them.
Ed used to tell me all the time their myth they were in Oklahoma was that they were magic and they would not be seen unless they wanted you to see them. That's why you could never get a picture of them.
Right.
So who knows?
There was something I was just about to bring up. I can't remember what. I thought it was a commercial, maybe. No, we talked about Rogers. I don't remember what it was. Huh. Just was there and then it was gone. But yeah, I think that video is probably horse shit.
Yeah, it kind of went away real fast.
Right?
It was real big for 3 days, and then you didn't see it no more. So
Yeah, I think somebody was just jacking with that train. Be easy to do. You know, they can't get off and investigate. Just go out there in your little chipmunk suit and sit down.
second half of the NFL season's coming. Which team is going to come? Like last year, Detroit went from nothing to a really good football team by the end of the year. Which team this year do you think is that way?
I have to pull up standings. I will say here are the bottom dwellers. I don't think the Patriots turn it around. I think they're playing for probably getting Belichick gone. I don't see the Broncos or the Raiders. Well, right there, that's an easy one. Bengals. Can you call them bottom dwellers though?
Well, they're 5-3. They're last in their division,
but by a game.
Well, 2 games really. 1 loss though is all. I think it's the Texans.
I think it's the Colts.
You think they're going to come around?
Yep.
I think it's the Texans. C.J. Stroud looks really good. Did you see it? There's an interesting thing about him today. I'm glad we brung this up now. Did you see that his dad's in prison? His dad's in prison for 35 years for aggravated assault, carjacking, kidnapping, blah, blah, blah. He thinks the justice system is not fair and that his dad should be out of jail.
C.J. Stroud does.
Yes. I read an article on that today, and C.J. Stroud seems like a really nice young man.
He does. He's misguided on that, but he's a nice kid.
That's where I think so, too. Your dad kidnapped somebody and stole their fucking car at gunpoint.
Right.
Your dad deserves to be in fucking prison.
Yeah.
You know? Well, 35 years is a long time. Well, fucking he should have thought about that before he did that shit. You know, I don't. That's what gets me. A lot of these people, well, they're unjustly locked up. No, they're not. Fucking, he broke the law. You know,
Right.
You don't fucking carjack and kidnap someone and expect you're just gonna get by with a slap on the fucking wrist.
And I don't see anybody in the NFC that's gonna do it. I like the Commanders. I think they have something in Sam Howell. He's a lot of fun to watch. Throw for 350 yards a game.
Well, they traded off their defensive line, which was really good for them.
Yeah, but I mean,
they should have won 2 games that they lost. They should have beat the Bears and they should beat somebody else. They did it to themselves. They could easily be 6-3 right now. No, the Vikings
Cardinals.
without Kirk Cousins, Vikings, I don't have a chance. I sure do like Dobbs,
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs. I mean, he's a smart kid. He's a good kid. I hope he does well. It's going to be really interesting because Kirk Cousins is a free agent at the end of this year.
they'll sign him.
You think they'll franchise him or sign him?
I bet they sign him.
I would sign him. I'm going to tell you right now, if
3-year
not,
deal.
the Jets ought to try to sign him.
Wow, they got right.
Atlanta Falcons should sign him. Atlanta Falcons are a quarterback away from being a really good football team.
Kyler Murray's playing this week.
So who gives a shit? He's trash. And I don't think Kyler Williams is going to be the first pick taken in the draft. Or Caleb Williams. I think he's played himself out of that.
He was bawling his eyes out.
Yeah, and that doesn't bother me as much as I just don't think he makes good decisions.
A lot of people said it bothered them.
That what?
A lot of people said it bothered them that
Yeah,
you don't want your guy to be
I don't understand that.
breaking down over there.
Do you have a problem with him being emotional?
Well, I mean, he's going to have to lead all these people, and
It's a quarterback. He's not going to war.
he's boo-hooing over
I think
his third loss.
we put sports on too much of a pedestal.
100%.
Big time, and I think him crying is not that big a fucking deal. I mean, these guys, we're going to war. No, you're not going to fucking war. These guys out here hunting right now, they went to war. Did you see that room last night when how many of them had served in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran? They raised their hands. 2/3 of the people here have served. They fought. They've been to war. Playing a fucking football game is not war. It's a game. When the game's over with, you shake hands and walk around and hug each other and tell them how much you love them and miss them, and you change uniforms. You show me a battle where they do that shit. They don't. So you were playing football. That's all you're doing.
That's right.
Nothing more, nothing less.
All right, it's 12 o'clock.
All right.
We got
God bless
people
y'all.
coming in.
Peace.
Go check out our sponsors. Go look at Hemp Hill Farms, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Stanfield Outfitters, Mossberg, Double T British Kennels, Ducks Unlimited, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Podcast, Shin Gear, Dirty Duck Coffee, Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Calls, Off Shot Shells, and MLR Graphics.